into this and see what's going to happen as we start off down to the bottom left-hand side with our red Zerg player. This is PenguiN. Use a pen as a toothpick, but I'm going to get ink in my mouth. Top right, our blue Protoss player is domickc. He took down Gung Fu Banda yesterday before he fell to Geralt. Let's see what he can do in today's games. First game on Stasis. Mate, we haven't seen Stasis all day. Little ink never hurt anybody. Well, I don't think a pen's going to help me much, actually. It's like right in the back of my teeth as well, like, Okay. I'm just going to try and forget about the apple skin. I'd say, as I continue to try and get it. Oh. It's free, it's free. Okay, perfect. Just in time to actually start casting. So, next is coming down here as we get going into this PvZ. If you're just tuned in, hello. You joined us in the middle of a long day of casting. We've been live for 6 hours already. And you're tuning in just in time for us to get going with our second tournament of the day. This one's the WardiTV Christmas Invitational Qualifier. Again, I love this event. Actually, it's kind of funny, but the Christmas Invitational I did for the first time like 2 years ago, I guess, in 2016. And it's the first time I'd actually run like a big event that was like a lot of my own money, like $500, in such a short period of time. Like, I'd run like big events that I'd run over like a couple of months or, you know, a much longer period of time, something like that, and I'd run a lot of weekly events. It was the first time I just put in like $300 to $500 and said, okay, let's have like a 5-day event. I'm going to cast it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, all week long, and see what happens. And it was such a success, and it was actually the beginning of starting to do a lot more events, such as the WardiTV Invitationals, and, you know, the Wardi Opens, and obviously the Christmas Invitational in the years since then, and stuff like that. So, yeah, pretty cool, really, you always love this event. As I'm just doing a couple of match scores, guys, as a couple people are offline or not here. So, as always, they always say in the first series of the day, guys, when I do an open qualifier or something like this, I am also doing the admin work. So, especially in the first series, in the first game, there's a lot of walkovers or players missing. So if I ever just go quiet or the observance not brilliant, it's just because I'm a little bit distracted trying to make sure the rest of the tournament starts moving smoothly. It's just one of those things. Either I pay an admin, which I can't afford to do, and they work for like 20 minutes and then nothing happens for the next 3 hours, or I just do it myself and we accept that the first cast of the day is not going to be the prettiest of casts. Feelings actually sneak into the natural expansion here as we're heading towards a pretty, well, a pretty regular mid-game for the most part, minus the fact that these Lings find themselves a whole bunch of probe kills to get started. Phoenix into an Oracle here in the early stages. This Oracle on the way out at the moment. As you're all going to be seeing this Phoenix moving out as well. Yeah, guys, if you guys don't know about PenguiN, PenguiN is actually very good, I would say, especially last year. PenguiN was very good. He qualified for IEM Shanghai, and he beat Ryung in the qualifying match to do that in an epic, like, 5-game series. Phoenix just hanging out in the bottom left-hand side. As you do see the few queens just firing away on a Phoenix flying over and the Oracle as well. As they're going to try and go for some damage in the main. The Spore Crawler targets the Oracle pretty quick though, so it's only going to be one worker killed. The Phoenix goes down to the Queens as well. Nice pick off there by PenguiN, moving his units around very effectively, get them in position nice and quick. At the same time, domickc hits the third base with these few adepts, and now we'll be able to shade them back. And you might be thinking, well, who is domickc? Domickc is also a Korean player, and also excited to see him being brought into, or kind of playing in a few more of these events as well. Always good fun to see him taking part. As we see those adepts gathering up in the top right-hand side, and a couple of lings going to start moving across the map. More Prism on the way out, and we do see again that single Zergling of PenguiN just coming around here where a few Adepts are, boom, in position, and they greet that Zergling with a couple of glaives, and they get killed pretty fast. Lat on its way up as well here from PenguiN too, so... Yeah, this is the Korean PenguiN. There's also obviously PenguiN, who's the Swiss player. Obviously they both have names which mean the same thing, as they are spelled differently, however. And they both play Zerg, which is kind of obvious, right? Because PenguiNs have to huddle together, and it's kind of awkward having to huddle together if one of you's Zerg and the other one's Protoss, right? Like, can you imagine the balance line? Oh, they would just never shut up. They'd be at each other's throats all the time, so they have to play Zerg, and they can huddle together and stay warm through the winter. A couple of Archons ready to lift up into that Prism. Plus one melee on the way up on the Evolution Chamber. Hydralisk Den coming down on the third base, as well as a couple of Archons coming through, and this is domickc's next real wave of harassment after those couple of Adepts and the Oracle early. A little bit of damage done at the moment. Queen taking a few shots here as the Archon's still chasing down. The Transfuser is there, and the Queen is healing up a little bit more still, but will eventually fall. Archons load up and just going to back away out into the center of the map. Observer coming forwards, which are going to allow him to clean up some of this creep spread, just as it actually starts spreading forwards as well, so that's quite a nice little time. And get rid of some of these active tumors is always powerful. And PenguiN building up into the Roach Hydra here. And as the Protoss player with the Immortals, the charge, it's very well set to kind of continue on in all of this. Penguins are just like how Zerg huddle together to devour the flesh of fallen Terran. I mean, that's a pretty graphic way of putting it, yes, but I'm sure it's not too far from the truth. Archons coming down here, and they are going to find themselves a couple of Lings, a couple of Hydras. Oh, loses one of those Archons there. A little bit unfortunate. There's the War Prism going to come back up toward the top side of the map. Two more High Templar, two more Zealots warping in. And you see another Assimilator being popped down as well. With this Pneumatized Carapace still coming through here, we have the Lurker Den also dropping down in the back of the main base. So getting that up and rolling. Group spread continuing to press forwards now, and yeah, just another couple of those Zards warping in, like mentioned before. And those are going pretty well. Neither of them really getting too aggressive with the armies, though. He means a couple of drop lords, so maybe the chance for PenguiN to start pulling domickc around a little bit. So going to be using these to get towards the main base, and at the same time probably push his main army towards the third. No Storm just yet from domickc, and that's something which you'd imagine would come up at sometime soon. I mean, Storm against a Hydra count is always good, and the Hydra count is starting to rise up quite drastically now, so it'll definitely be a somewhat worthwhile commitment. As again, the two drop lords coming over, but actually, domickc is already starting to get underneath these overlords. The first overlord is going to take quite a bit of damage and is going to go down, so it doesn't even get into the main base. All four units still inside there. Obviously, we're going to be seeing domickc also having to defend over to the left side, but so far so good. He's doing a pretty good job of this, although starting to get outnumbered a little bit now. Probes pull away because he thinks this might be a Baneling drop. When he sees it isn't, well, the probes obviously pulling away still keeps them safe, so it's still not a bad thing, but they probably didn't need to pull away as drastically, as two roaches will go towards the main. And that's pretty much all of the harassment from these couple of drop lords. Not really a lot of value found there in the end. I mean, now finally getting some probes, but this is the first real damage that they've dealt. I mean, he got a little bit of a trade-off over to the left-hand side as well, but all good. Storm gets started, and the fleet beacon getting going too. And for a fourth Nexus dropping down, domickc very comfortable, just continuing to go in towards the macro kind of stages of the game. Not really, not really anything to question about it. He's playing well, honestly. He's playing real well. I like it. He's just looking solid. He's looking good. He isn't really making any mistakes in these early stages. As you see, Zealots, Immortals, and an Archon coming out into the center. So, Dank Shrine, thank you so much for the 15-month resub. Got some love in the chat for Dank Shrine, guys. Says, happy 15 months, Wardy. Keep on keeping on. If you don't sub to Wardy, you don't love StarCraft. Well, I'm not sure how true that last statement is, but thank you so much nonetheless. I'll get your decoration on the tree after this game, as we do see a couple of probes had to pull away there just for a moment. But, well, they're still okay. They're alright, they're surviving. Fourth Nexus dropping down as you see some Lings going to start running in as well. Zealots there to push these Lings back a little bit. A couple of Lurkers will start a burrow, and well, starting to get a little bit of damage done. Guardian Shield gets put up to help deflect this at the moment. We've seen the Zealots starting to charge forwards, and High Templars available to throw down a couple of storms here. Yeah, a lot of those Zerglings already being picked away at, so a lot of those going down to the top left-hand side. A few Hydras set up as well, ready to run on by. But man, this is really kind of quite exciting, right? I mean, these Lurkers are up, and both of these pros players are really in towards these armies. I feel like this is one of the better games we've seen today. We've been live for 6 hours already. Like, it's really turned into quite a back-and-forth macro game between the two of them. As Lings run in, and they do only get a few of those Zealot kills picked off already. PenguiN now just dealing with that aggression quite nicely. Prism is going to keep on going on. Few Zealots going to start moving down to the bottom side as Lurkers. Two burrow up to the top. A Photon Cannon gets picked off here, and the Lurkers now going to have to unburrow and back away. Hydras and Lurkers still around. And he has actually found himself between the natural and the third base. So an Immortal going down, these Lurkers firing to try and pick their way through what they can. No Overseer though, so the Mothership is actually kind of just a free let's kill everything kind of token at the moment. That's actually pretty incredible. The Mothership will allow for such an efficient cleanup for domickc. Okay, here comes the Overseer finally, but now the High Templars are here, so the Storms will help a lot, and those Hydras are taking heavy hits. The Mothership though finally going down, the extra Storms are dropping. PenguiN is beginning to break through this army, and it looks like he might have just had enough in the end, but the extra couple of Zealot weapons will also push PenguiN back, and PenguiN is back just a little bit down towards the center. Lings and Hydras still setting up here as we see them now running in towards the natural expansion. This Ling's going to go a little bit crazy on a whole bunch of these probes. And domickc doesn't really have much of a choice but to type GG into the game. We have our red Zerg player, PenguiN, who is up 1-0 in this best of 3 right now. Thanks for sitting around. Players actually just needed a couple of moments before this game got started, which is why we're out of game for so long, guys. But back into it now, and to the top right, our blue Protoss is domickc. So after this, it'd be kind of cool if we were able to catch Beastie Cutie's game. Probe coming down to the bottom left. Hatchery coming up on the natural, and just going to be seeing the extractor dropping down as well. So hatch gas and a spawner pool as well. So hatch gas and a pool coming through. Gateway going to be finishing up on the front as this Overlord coming through the center, of course. Get across the map. Pretty much nowadays you only send that first Overlord across because the Phoenix opening is so common. The last thing you want to do is send multiple over, and you just don't really gain enough information to justify it. So, yeah. The winner of this series is actually going to play Sol. Sol's already going to be ready, so that might be something we can just come straight into as well after this. That'd actually be pretty cool. Go straight in towards a TVZ or a TVP, depending on how this series goes. I was also looking at maybe the potential Beastie Cutie versus Risky matchup, which might happen. So, but I think the winner of this against Sol could be pretty fun as well. Sol, a top-level Terran player in Europe, playing from Poland and for the team Wind and Rain. So we could definitely perhaps see him. Sol, I would say, is maybe one of the favorites to win this tournament today, or definitely to potentially qualify. So, yeah. Stargate coming up in the main base, as we do see the Adept going to start shitting out onto the map. Third hatchery coming down here from PenguiN, as the singular probe is chased down by just a couple of Zerglings here. Couple of Lings just looking to try and get whatever they can do done. As we are going to be seeing one Zergling getting a little bit of damage tagged onto it. And the Ling speed on the way up from PenguiN as well. So getting that Ling speed going. Hatchery dropping down, and Adept coming through to kill off the drone. It's quite nice though. I mean, a little bit of damage done by domickc, who's of course looking to try and fight back and tie up this series 1-1. Wardy, why are you so boring? Because Carnivores, I've been casting for 6.5 hours, and the first 3.5 minutes of PvZ that we've watched about 10 times already today are turning out to be the exact same as always. It's very hard to be more interesting when you're doing that. But thank you so much for being productive and useful in the chat. I can advise that if you find the stream boring or uninteresting, it's actually very easy to close the stream. You could also mute the stream. You could also just consider not saying anything and just letting people enjoy the content they enjoy, rather than just being a complete fucking dick. So there you go. That's a great question. Thanks for actually perking up the interesting PvZ opening. Twilight Robo coming down to get going for 4 extra gates. It's actually a very aggressive setup here. So extra gates coming through is 6, 7. Ooh. Wow, okay, so he's going up to 8 gates in total. Wow. That's real aggressive here. Real aggressive. Light coming up from PenguiN, going into the main base, as you do see the creep spread just pushing out onto the map. Couple of queens on the way out as well, and just getting this set up. Okay, okay. Fast lair is intriguing, and I wonder what it's going to mean for dealing with this 8 gate all in. I mean, War Prism coming up, so this is just going to be pure units. I mean, what's actually used the Twilight Council for? Nothing, right? Is the Twilight Council just a complete fake out here? Was this even seen, though, by PenguiN? What's up, everyone from Loco Stream? How you guys doing? Welcome to the stream. We're currently just starting the WardiTV Christmas Invitational Qualifiers. So we've been live for a good few hours casting other events, but this is our second event of the day. So hello and welcome from the Loco Stream. I want to see your Low Santas. Low Santa might be my favorite emote on Twitch, so I know a lot of you are Loco subs. Give me some Low Santas up in this chat. As Clown Killer comes in and drops some bits as well. Thank you so much. Oh, WardiBot, don't time out the man who spams loads of Low Santas. That's not good. Alright, here we go. Zelda coming in here again. No charge or anything. Did he forget charge? Oh no, domickc. I mean, I thought he built the try. Maybe it's like some weird fake, but I think he just didn't get charged when he was meant to. And that's huge because it means the Zelds aren't doing that bonus damage. It means as the Hydras come out, well, they're going to have a much better time against the Zelds than they usually would. As we are going to be seeing the Queens taking some damage. Loco with the 15-month resub. I can't wait to shave my balls with discount code Wardy. Thank you for the slightly PG resub notification. Give me some love in the chat for Loco. Thank you for the raid, dude. Thank you for the 15 months. As these Zelds are overrunning the natural, and even without charge, the 8 gates is just good enough. domickc. Jay Shinrei has just dropped the $50. Oh my god. Guys, can we get some love in the chat for a big old $50 donation? That is pretty bonkers. Dude, I'm going to get you a decoration on the tree straight after this game. But can we get a round of love for the very, very, very generous $50? Why is Wardy such a cutie? We should also give him some love because he's clearly a little bit wrong in the head and doesn't really know what he's saying. I don't know if Wardy's really a cutie, but, you know, we can still show him some love for the $50. Thank you so much. Today's crazy. This week's crazy. I think this is like our 3rd or 4th day where we've had like $200 plus donations. This week's just absolutely insane. Let's see some love and hype in some chats as we go to game number 3 here in the WardiTV Christmas Invitational Qualifier. To the top left-hand side, our red Zerg fell down to the chargeless 8 gate. This is PenguiN. His hatchery being nibbled by a probe, which belongs to the blue Protoss in the bottom right-hand side of the map. This is domickc. Okay. How's everybody doing out there? How are you all feeling? I'm full of energy for this qualifier. Again, this is just our very first match of it. And we've got a whole bunch of matches to come after this as well. We've got great players signed up. We've got Bly in the bracket. We've got Soul waiting for the winner of this. Geralt, Risky. BC Cutie's playing today, which is really exciting because we don't always see BC Cutie signing up and playing. It's been actually forever. I don't actually know if Beastie ever played it. I think he did a long time ago, played in one of my tournaments. I feel like it's been forever since I've seen Beastie play in a tournament, so... He's taking part today. He's just getting set up and ready to go into his first matchup as he was waiting for an opponent for a while. But all of that is happening. Hopefully we'll be able to catch a little bit of Beastie later on as the stream progresses. A couple of queens on the way up to get going for game number 3 of this PvZ. Two very different games so far. The first game back and forth. I thought domickc had some great aggression. I really thought he was really doing a good job defending, you know, applying pressure and stuff like that. But I also, in the end, he lost out. PenguiN was also doing a good job, I guess, of trading and stuff like this. And sometimes easy to get carried away when one player's defending very well. You're like, wow, and you just kind of forget the other guy's still doing a pretty good job of, how he's handling the aggression. And so PenguiN won that first game. But domickc, 8 gates, no messing around in game number 2. Boom, he just took that one down, and he just made magic happen. And we do see now the link speed on the way up, about halfway done here. Stargate starting up over in the main. Not really too surprising, obviously. PvZ is still good old PvZ, where the Stargate is so necessary to take the third base very early, to protect with an Oracle. It's a good tool for seeing what's on the map. It's a good tool for getting a little bit aggressive, applying some pressure. There's just so many things denying information because of the Phoenix. There are just so many benefits to going to Stargate, and of course it's so variable where you can go from a Stargate opening. You open with the first Stargate, boom, second Stargate come down, you play double Stargate Phoenix. You can go Phoenix Oracle, you can go Phoenix with no Oracles into a very aggressive follow-up like we just saw in the last game. You can go Oracle, Phoenix Oracle, you can go Mass Oracle. There's so many ways to play and so many transitions available. It really keeps the game, while it's very uninteresting, I would say, to maybe watch the first 3 minutes because it's just going to be that Phoenix. After that, it really allows for so many transitions, and it's almost just essential to give the Protoss away into the main. Why no wall off? He's got a wall off right over here. If you've got a wall off down on the low ground, you don't really need a wall off into the main. If you have this issue of something breaks into your natural anyways, you're probably in a lot of trouble. So no reason to wall the main base straight away or anything like that if you wall on the low ground. But I'm not sure what you were maybe referencing. Maybe you just didn't see the natural wall. PenguiN is chilling out. These lings, man, they have like these wings on the back just look massive. It's like you could actually form them into a parachute. It's crazy. As we see Resonating Glaives though, so that is domickc changing it up. So again, showing us how you can play so many different styles of PvZ off of this Stargate opening. This one is just a single Oracle, and there isn't a Phoenix with it yet. That's because the Phoenix is over here. So again, it's very usual for these Phoenix to team up with the Oracle to lift up a Queen to allow the Oracle to be able to fight against drones for as long as possible, basically. So that's what's kind of currently happening. A few pylons dropping down, a couple of extractors being dropped as well. And an Overlord on the way out of this third base. So, again, that Overlord coming through. Lair just ticking over, coming up towards completion in the next few moments. Queens gathering themselves together on the front of this crypt spread. And this Phoenix Oracle still yet to make their move. Maybe it was just waiting for the Phoenix to regenerate the shields, which is a pretty reasonable kind of thing to think about. I mean, if the Phoenix doesn't have shields, it's going to get targeted down very quickly, very easily. And that's obviously not something that you'd like to happen. So, just waiting for that to regen. It makes sense. I mean, killing drones earlier is always better, but at the same time, if you're still going to get the damage done, that's still okay. So Glaives is about to finish, and I feel like we might just be seeing this Phoenix Oracles maybe being kept until the Adepts are ready on the other side. Unfortunately for domickc, PenguiN finds the first few Adepts kind of out on their own, and in a trade that should never really be that good for the Zerg player, Lings against Adepts here, it goes very well because he finds the first 3 just empty. However, the Lings do die, so there's kind of that weird mixture of this was good for the Zerg, but then he also lost a lot of Lings, which makes it a bit more difficult too. Adepts going to shade over, and they might just commit over in towards this mineral line here. Only a couple of Lings ready. The Roaches aren't ready just yet. The Oracle actually comes over in this direction now too, and will help to get rid of a couple of these Queens. Transfuse comes down. The first Roaches starting to pop out. Oracle straight onto this next Queen, and again, maybe not a lot of economic damage so far, but I would say that this has still got potential with so many Adepts still alive here. PenguiN just going to really start to struggle if these Adepts start shading around, because obviously the Roaches are not the most mobile of units, and right now these Roaches are actually being picked off 1 or 2 at a time by the Adepts. Okay, this is a better clunk of Roaches, and they will be able to actually get some proper damage done as the Adepts shade away. 3 Adepts remaining as they get out of there. The Oracle now goes down as well. The Phoenix is alive as it pulls back, This was 8 Adepts in the Oracle for 20 Lings, 3 Roaches, 4 Queens, and 6 Drones. Overall, I'd say it's pretty good for the Protoss play. It's not one of those engagements that ends the game for the Zerg and is irrecoverable from, but it definitely puts the Zerg into a bit of a tougher spot, a bit of a tougher position. As domickc even kept a few Adepts alive, which means he's got a little bit extra to try and help him defend over here, although an Immortal would be fantastic, and there it is, Immortal brought into play, and a Force Field comes down to stop those Roaches from getting anywhere. They'll try and target down another couple of probes. That's pretty much all they'll get done. Maybe able to get this pylon too. Again, PenguiN trying to make the most out of as little as possible here. This is not a lot of Roaches. They're not being reinforced. And as they come up to the top side, those Roaches are going to be running up to get away. 10 more Hydras on the way out now then. +2 missile attack and the Groove Spines coming into play. Getting all of this set up and ready to roll. Templar Archives drops into the main base as well, so also just getting that going here. I mean, domickc just with all of the kind of the follow-ups that he needs and stuff like that. A couple of drones continue to drop on down here at the moment. Again, these Adepts putting in some real effort to pick up so much. I mean, this is what now? 12 drones killed? It's still not crazy numbers, but it's adding up just a few every time these Adepts show up. Going really well. Drop Lords coming in. We saw PenguiN using these in the earlier games, so not really surprised to see them once again. On a map like Parasite as well, where it is so difficult to push into the 3 to 4 bases of the Protoss player, the Drop Lords can really enable you to pull the Protoss player more out of position and to create much better opportunities for you to push in and to fight than what you might usually just get regularly. So going into that at the moment, as we do see the Phoenix just chasing away that Overseer here. It's like the slowest death ever, an Overseer being killed by a single Phoenix. Probably doesn't realize he's dying. He's like, that tickles. Oh, that's good. Oh yeah, you hit me right. And then he just dies. It's like, oh no. Death by 1,000 tickles. So do you see the Roaches and Hydras now starting to push, but Storm is ready as well. Good force fields. Traps the first few Hydras in there with the Zealots. Storm helps to push the Hydras back then. The Roaches getting caught up a little bit as well. Archons continue to press forwards. We do see these Immortals also joining up towards this upper side. All of these units coming up to the top now as we see the Lurker Den on the way up from PenguiN. That'll be his next, obviously, big tech play here. Lurkers will make life a lot more difficult for domickc to engage into the fights, but I mean, they do become with a bit of lack of mobility as well now and again. Prism is actually going to be seen by that hatchery, but also, of course, gets to see the hatchery as well, so kind of a win-win there. And as we're going to be seeing the Prism about to arrive up in the main. And, well, again, everything else coming down. Roaches and Hydras. Zealots start charging in, does pick off a couple of Roaches to the right-hand side. The Phoenix actually finds the Dropper Lords. So domickc finding the Dropper Lords here is obviously pretty big, and just knows about it now. And that is more than enough to start getting in position to deal with it at least. So that's really great. That's not going to come as much of a surprise as PenguiN would have liked it to. High Templar getting in position to try and come through with the Storms, perhaps? Don't move away, don't move away. They're just coming in now. I guess he's got Stalkers in the main base, however. Storm. He's going to start to soften this up. How many Storms do you really drop on the Overlords, though, I guess? Meanwhile, Roaches and Hydras will push in at the front. This 4th base in some trouble. And the Immortals don't want to jump on that just yet. Waiting for a couple more units, but it doesn't feel as though they're going to be there in time. So he has to go, but the 4th base is already being killed. Might be able to get here to stop these Lurkers from finishing him off. And then, oh, well, that's actually a really good force field. That's actually a bunch of Roaches going down. He does get a couple of sentries, but still not worthwhile. Kills a Lurker there as well. In fact, all these Hydras going down because the Dropper Lords are back over here now, and they are acting as a distraction, which is kind of hurting and benefiting PenguiN. I mean, they're doing pretty well, but he's also not paying attention to his Lurkers on that left side. These Immortals and Lurkers are just so close to each other. But obviously, domickc has bigger issues than picking up some free Lurkers. I mean, it would be nice, but it would also be nice for him to survive over to this right side. Roaches and Hydras into the main. Still just going to be keeping on being so frustrating here. And this is buying PenguiN a lot of time for his next tech switch, which is going to be that Great Aspire dropping down behind the mineral line. So, Great Aspire dropping in. Just to see where this goes, we see Hydras and Roaches down the right as well. Full Prism sat off to the left-hand side too, and again, here we go. These units are going to keep on pressing forwards. See a few more Archons coming up here from domickc. The Storm comes down. A few High Templars getting some damage done. Ooh, some very good damage onto those Hydras. Again, the Storms are just so good. Where are the Lurkers? They're just not here at all, are they? I think he's using his gas on Corruptors and then wants to obviously turn them into Broodlords, but if you don't have an army up while going into Corruptors and then Broodlords now, well, those are going to be very exposed. Now, there is no blink. There isn't a lot of anti-air here either, but those Broods are going to be slow wherever they are. As we are just going to be seeing the Hydras continue to pull back. Another Zelda getting picked off there. Still have some units moving around a bit too, and going to see that Great Aspire finishing. So there's the Broods. I mean, this forward base is dead, right? So this forward base goes down. This left-hand side base isn't an issue not mining yet, but I'm sure it will be something that domickc will have a plan for in the long term, because he knows that base is up. He flew over it with a Warp Prism earlier, so he'll know he'll want to move towards that direction at some stage. I don't know if he just saw the Broodlords there or not. I feel like he didn't. Still moving over to the left-hand side now. The Prism comes in, gets shut down pretty quick. A couple of Zealots in the main did get some damage done though, so also saw the Great Aspire, so now he knows the Great Aspire is up. domickc will have no interest in pressing forwards after knowing there's probably Broodlords on the way. So all of this, and his entire army coming back down into the middle of the map here. Archons, Immortals, High Templar. And now he's switching into Tempest, so domickc already has an answer to the Broodlords pretty much established. So going towards these Tempests, and 3 Tempests coming out at a time, this is actually the perfect answer for Broodlords, being able to fight from a distance and so on. And, well, I mean, here come the Broods. But there isn't anything to really protect the Broodlords. There's 9 Hydras, no Corruptors, there's no Queens for transfusions, so as these Tempests come in, these Broods are going to be like, oh, well then. I mean, I guess we just do as much damage as we can right now. If I was domickc, I wouldn't even be pushing forwards with this army. Just let your Tempests sit here and deal the damage themselves. A few more units going down. High Templars still coming forwards. More and more Tempests coming out, and again, I mean, what do you do? I mean, maybe some Vipers start abducting those Tempests in, but then you still need a Hydra count first. So maybe that's what he'll head towards. Tempest here picking off a Roach or two, which run over to the right side. And these Broodlords are just on their own. Like, I mean, there's enough Tempest here to one-shot Broodlords now. So every time they fire, they're killing a Broodlord. I mean, that's insane value, obviously. And, I mean, these Hydras coming in. Cool. Now the Hydras are just going to start going down to Tempest as well. Dropper Lords going to spread themselves out, but there's only a few units in each of them, so it's not really that much of a deal. The Storm on the ramp is brutal. And again, these Tempests can still just one-shot Broodlords down. And, I mean, it's just falling apart for PenguiN. I don't know what he has right now to really make me look at this game and be like, ah, yeah, PenguiN doing well here. Well, he's going to be able to turn this around. Lurkers are going to get blocked in right here. There might not be detection for this one, which is burrowed, but, well, there's not that much anyways, as we do see the, I mean, one Lurker going to get a Zealot kill eventually. A couple of Mortals coming down to deal with these Roaches as well, which are doing some good damage. PenguiN keeping himself up by about 10 to 12 workers here. But his army supply is just non-existent, as we see that Lurker now getting picked off here. And I mean, what now? Burrow coming up from PenguiN on the right-hand side of this base. I actually really don't know what you do here as PenguiN. I really don't know. He's going to be kicking himself for losing to a game number 2 where his opponent 8-gate charge all into him and forgot charge. Yeah. Crazy. Roaches are bruised and battered from before. domickc, funnily enough, hit supply block by losing this pylon. I mean, what do you do now? Overlords, Dropper Lords are kind of abandoned with nothing left in them. There's one Roach. Oh, wow. I mean, going in towards more Lurkers again, it seems to be the choice, but I think Tempest just counter Lurkers too. Fire from a distance. There's a lot of Hydras. Maybe if the Hydras can overrun, but there's a 7 high. I mean, there's so many Storms as well. With charge lots, Immortals, I just don't see it. It's going to have to be one hell of a fight out of PenguiN to make this work out here in Game 3 of this series. Our first series of this tournament, by the way. already turning out to be quite a banger. I'm glad we got to jump into this game as well. Yeah, a couple of abducts, but honestly, the Tempest pretty much obliterated the first fight, but the second one nearly went down as well. And the Tempests that are left over are still good enough to fight, but Stars, be careful. Oh dear, High Templar on move command. domickc is making a disastrous move here. He just lost all of his High Templar. The Broodlords are over here, so the Tempests are out of position. And this was a huge mistake, because now these Tempests are coming in. They're overhead on Hydras. Hydras are starting to get kills. Extra Zealots will charge in. Imagine he got a single Storm off in this fight. Did PenguiN just completely throw this, turn this around? I don't even know if you can call this PenguiN turn this around as much as domickc just throwing this completely away. Holy shit, that was just I could not have made more of that fight go wrong if I tried to. I don't know what I would have changed to make that fight worse for domickc here. I mean, maybe the Tempest didn't actually manage to fire on any of the Lurkers, which they did manage to do, I suppose. Abducts in means that suddenly 2 more Tempests go down. There's only 2 Tempests left after having such a rich collection of these high-tech units. It might still be enough to take down these last couple of Broodlords here. These Hydras putting out the damage. The Broods are being chased. The Archon goes down. 1 Broodlord remains. 2 Tempests still in the sky. Zealots will warp in as extra Tempests show up now. They're going to push on forwards and try and make this work. The Zealots to chum in front. A Viper gets taken down as well. domickc has money in the bank if he can just get a chance to spend it. I'm not sure if he will get that chance, because these Hydras are on top of his Tempest, and they can take out a lot after that as well, as the Tempest continue to try and back away. But Tempest after Tempest is falling down. Another few Zealots being warped in now as well. And this is truly just gone disastrously, as we're going to be seeing these GGs being called. Wow. PenguiN really